Well. Aloha kakahiaka, everyone. That, by the way, kakahiaka means good morning. Aloha kakaka means good morning because it's good morning in Hawaii right now. It's actually 9 o'clock our time. And you are on the Aloha Friday Hawaii Real Estate Show. Welcome. To that, actually, we say e komo mai. E komo mai means welcome. We got a lot of stuff planned for you today. We're going to be going through some news. We have some market updates. We got a very interesting question that you don't want to miss out on. There's a bunch of huge stories about rising insurance rates in Hawaii and how might that affect you. Of course, your questions are the most important, so give us your live questions here. We're going to be going over some what we call diamonds and deals, great properties, beautiful homes that you want to look at, and then we're going to close with some motivational thoughts. But before we do that, we have to warm up. We have to warm up the internet. We have to warm up our audience. We have to warm everybody up. And so with me today, I've got going clockwise, I've got Dylan Nonaka, who is from the Big Island. We have Heidi Dollinger, who is from Maui, and we have Ashley Wasan, who's from Oahu. And it's time to warm up the microphone. So let's go in that order. Dylan, what's the shirt you're wearing? What's going on? How are you today on the Big Island?
This is a new Living Hula dry fit golf shirt. So new material. It doesn't need to be ironed, which is super high on my priority list because I like to just take it out of dryer and shake it and then hang it up and it's good to go. So it's one of those. But check out Living Hula, and it's oddly actually sun's kind of started coming out, but it was raining this morning, pouring this morning, which is odd for Kona. And then the power went out at my house. So I had to quickly come down to the office so I could work because there was no power until about 8 o'clock this morning at my house. So funky weather, but it's been funky weather the whole state. I think you're going to hear that from the ladies too.
It's been funky weather, and yeah, you definitely it's the no iron shirt. I think that's a new requirement not a new requirement. It's been a timeless requirement of men. We don't want to have to iron or take care of anything. I'm going to throw it in the wash machine, dryer, pull it out, hang it up. I'm done. I'm not doing that. Yeah. Oh, hey, by the way, I want to give a shout out to Judy Weber. Welcome, Judy. Judy is a member of the Islander Ohana and recently made the big move to the Big Island. Welcome, Judy.
She's my neighbor. We live like a 5-minute walk away from each other. So.
Oh, how cool. I did not know that. Not know that. How cool is that? Of all places for Judy to check out. That'd be awesome. Hey, by the way, if you're online with us, give us a shout out. Let us know where you're from. It's always fun to kind of see who's attending, where they're attending from. That's always a good time. So let us know so we can recognize you as well. All right, Heidi, what is the coffee of Maui and how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Listening to the birds singing here. It's a sunny morning and just happy to be here. I'm drinking my Kanapali coffee, which I had to run and go get right before the show. Just enjoying life. Happy to be here. Good to see everybody.
Isn't that the thing, Heidi? Just enjoying life, just happy to be here. That is the one thing that makes that is so awesome about Hawaii because, man, just waking up and walking outside, it's like, man, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so lucky to live in this amazing place, right? And speaking of people who live in this amazing place is Auntie Joan Valentine. Welcome, Joan. Joan is also a member of the Honor Ohana. Welcome, Joan. It's great to see you, and we are glad that you're here. Oh, and it looks like the whole Ohana is turning out because we got Mark Whitehill, who is from Mililani on Oahu, a longtime member of the Islander Ohana. Welcome, Mark. How did you guys get through? How was the weather over the past week? It was kind of like it's a crazy rains and all kinds of stuff going on. It's kind of calmed down. Speaking of calming down, maybe not speaking of calming down, how are you doing? Ashley gets the update from the winter side of Oahu, and how are you doing today?
I'm good. Last show we were talking about how we were preparing for all of the rain that was coming, and I was excited for it. And I don't know if you guys experienced this on the other islands. A lot of people just had leaks. You know, it was one of those crazy rainstorms, and it was awesome. Our island needed it, but it did have obviously its downsides as well. And now it's back to being very hot. I mean, the moment the rain stopped, it instantly went to extremely hot, needed to turn on the AC. So I don't know, kind of want the rain to come back a little bit. But I'm excited because this is a good kickoff to the summer. Our kids, if you have any keiki, they're about to come graduate or their summer fun's about to begin now and in the next 2 weeks. So traffic will be down.
Traffic will be down. The sun is going to be up. We're going to have summer, the longer days. Summer is still the best. I mean, there's a small variance, right? A small variance in temperature, a little bit. That we do have seasons in Hawaii. It's always beautiful, but summer still kind of rules, right? The days are long.
Yeah, and to that point, I had a newfound appreciation for living in Hawaii. I found this really unique home in New Hampshire where I was born and raised, and it was 20 minutes from my mom's house. And I was looking to put in an offer if I could make the rental numbers work. And then I realized all the additional work I would have to do. After winter, when the spring comes, you need something to dredge up all the dead grass underneath the new grass, and you have to plant all of your spring. There are things I've been here for so long that I forgot about, that owning real estate, there is so much more work, and how everyone is so enjoys life so much here because you don't have the same responsibilities with homeownership. Yes, you do have others, but $1 house there, and the property tax was $1,700 a month, and the property tax for $1.3 million here is about $400 a month. I mean, don't quote me exactly, but the property tax differences were crazy. So a lot of newfound appreciation for our real estate here again.
Yeah, actually, that's a great contrast. Actually, from my perspective, I wouldn't care if the house was free. It wouldn't matter to me. It's like, not interested. It doesn't compare. Don't know, don't care. Maybe for investment perspectives. But anyway, yeah, thanks for that. No, we take a lot of things for granted. But we're not going to take what we're not going to take for granted is saying hello to our friends who are giving us all shout outs over here. So Diego, thanks for letting me know about that. Audio breaking up a little. Let me know about that, gang. If my audio is breaking up, we had some technical difficulties right before the show starts, so that's certainly possible. Kinaya is back with us. Kinaya is also a member of the Island Ohana. Kinaya, you are missed. It's a long time that I remember that we all got together. The whole gang got together at Makapu'u a long time ago. Great to see you again. Aloha from the surface of the sun, getting up to 105 today in Austin. A balmy 105 in Austin. Man, Kinaya, when's the date, girl? When's the date? The date that you're coming back home to Hawaii. Maximum Salad. I love that. Maximum Salad. Aloha, everyone. It's Jess and Wes. Another gang the gang's all out today. The Islander Ohana is turning out. Jess and Wes, great friends from the Islander Ohana. And I love Maximum Salad. I didn't get the word play until I started saying that. Y'all get it? Max Salad. Max Salad. Macaroni salad. Max Salad is big in Hawaii. Awesome. Very, very good play on words. Good play on words, Jess and Wes. You guys are great. I love you guys. Give us the update, by the way. Are you still are you now managing the entire planet? Jess, I know you were managing a bunch of stores. You're skyrocketing forward. Give us the update. Hey, NYC, aloha from NYC. Hey, did you go to the Bronx thing that there was a big Bronx rally yesterday? I'm curious about that, NYC. But anyway, welcome. It's good to have you here. Mark is saying it's soggy. It's soggy, but it's beautiful now, just in time for our staycation to Kauai. Kauai's not represented here right now, and I don't want to offend our Maui resident and our Big Island resident, but I gotta say that Kauai is my second favorite island too. I'm with it. Kauai is second. I love Kauai. I've had a dream life there for a long time. Okay. Marco, welcome. First time, Marco Kapata. Welcome, Marco. Aloha, everyone. It is good to see you. Good that you gave us a shout out. And Kelly is back. Hey, Kelly, how's it? Kelly is on the team, on Dylan's team. Audio good on YouTube. Was underwater bubbles on FB. Underwater bubbles. I like that. Underwater bubbles. Polo, Marco Polo. Okay, got it. I get it. Love it. Oh, is Kapata Polo in some other language? That would be kind of interesting. I wonder what. Anyway, welcome, Marco. Well, it's good to see you. All right, great. That rounds up. And hey, people are giving us shout out. That's really fun to kind of see who's attending. If you're watching us, give us a shout out too. We'd love to hear from you. So I'm glad that Marco's laughing. Good. That's a laugh emoji. or is that emoji or Vacant? I don't know what the hell it is, but it's fun. But anyway, Sonia is with us. Sonia, I'm going to butcher that, so I'm not going to do it. Sonia, welcome. Aloha from Kona on the Big Island. It is good to thank you for showing up and giving us a quick shout out. And yeah, good to see you all. Good to see everybody. All right. Hey, let's, I think it's time for next slide, please. Let me do this. So let's do a quick roundup. I caught a bunch of news that I enjoy kind of sharing, things that are kind of interesting. And I have to preface by saying the news headlines, as I was going through and preparing for the show, the news headlines were kind of on the downside. So this is going to be kind of a downer, and I couldn't find too many uppers. So it is what it is, and we have to kind of go with it. So, okay, home affordability. The headline is home affordability in Hawaii is as bad as it has ever been. Only 1 in 5 households in Hawaii can afford to buy a single family home, a huge drop from just a few years ago. And, there was another story. I'm going to skip down to the story. Well, we'll skip there. We have another story about this that shows that even affordable homes, what used to be affordable just a few years ago, has now become unaffordable because of rising insurance costs. We're gonna talk about. We did talk about the rising insurance costs at our last show, but we're going to talk about it again because it has really come up in the headlines, and a lot of people are talking about it. At the last show, we talked about sort of what are the underlying fundamentals, what's causing this rise in insurance costs. This time, we're going to talk about something from another perspective that I know you're going to want to listen to and be a part of. All right. Here's a fun one. A $13 loaf of bread spurs a formal complaint. Yes, there was a lawmaker on Kauai apparently who went to the grocery store. Maybe they don't go to grocery stores too often. This was the first time. And they noticed that there was a $13 loaf of bread, and they filed a complaint with the Department of Commerce and Consumer Affairs. I think that I'm laughing because you're part of the leadership. You're part of the legal system. You contributed to all of the things that caused us $13 a loaf of bread, all the policies and all the things that were done. And now you're going to complain about it. I thought that was kind of funny. Anyway, tourism is down, Rosie, in what is supposed to be, there's a rosy U.S. summer travel. The Transportation Security Department is saying that this is going to be one of the biggest summers that we've had yet in Hawaii. Not so good. Some folks are maybe, we talked about this before on the show that, we keep rising prices. We keep making things more and more expensive. Hotels are like $500 a day, etc. We're rising the price of what it takes to vacation in Hawaii. Maybe we're seeing the effects of that. CEO Pleasant Holidays, a big travel company, one of the biggest in Hawaii, said their bookings are down 28%. Others are estimating 28% down from last year. They're off 28%. Others are saying 10 to 12% compared with last summer. Regardless, it is down. So I'm wondering if we're starting to see the effects. And finally, not finally, but one more in Lahaina. I want to hear from Heidi about this one. Looks like people are trying to buy vacant land surrounding Lahaina. So those landowners who perhaps had homes that were destroyed in the fire are now looking for other options. And apparently there's a bunch of vacant land, and they're buying that vacant land, although it's not developed vacant land. So it's interesting as to why they're doing that, but I'd be curious if Heidi has heard anything. And then finally, affordable condos in Kakaako. So this is the interesting story. So the story was that there were some affordable condos that went for sale in Kakaako, and the project took a lot longer than they thought. They opened it up actually in 2019. They just finished the project now. However, a lot of the people that had qualified under the low income requirement but yet they were financially qualified according to the bank, etc., back in 2019 are now falling out because they can't afford it. Why? Two big things. Number one, huge increase in interest rates have increased the monthly payment, and these folks are maybe right on the borderline, and a 35% jump in maintenance fees due to higher insurance costs. So that insurance is a big deal. It's a big deal, and we're going to need to find out more about that. All right, enough of my blowharding. Why don't we do this? How about if we let's go back to our friends over here and talk about, let's kind of flip into some market updates before. Let's see, we had some more comments. Discover Oahu Living. All right. Aloha from Mililani, Oahu. Welcome, Discover Oahu Living. Welcome. Good to see you. Thanks for joining us. All right. Why don't we get to our market update? Let's go bottom up. Let's go for Ashley, then Heidi, and then Dylan. Market updates. What are you seeing on the Oahu market? Ashley, what's changed? What's new? What's interesting and reportable?
We have a pretty even kill market. Still not a whole lot has changed in the last 2 weeks besides slightly warming up for our summer market, which is pretty standard, I think, across the states. Interest rates, they're fluctuating a bit up and down from the day to day, but overall, everything's very stable. Like April closed out with a total single family and townhouse condos at 724 sales. Days on market are going down. So we're at about 23 days average for single family and condos combined. So there's different ways to look at statistics when it comes to real estate. You can just look at the single family, just condo, or the entire market as a whole, which would include lots, multifamily, businesses, commercial, industrial. So we're only talking single family and condos. The month supply has gone up. We're almost at 4 months supply for housing, however. So a seller's market, I know we've said this a few times, but a reminder, a seller's market is if there's 6 months or less supply of inventory, and a buyer's market is 6 months or more of inventory. That means if no other houses were to come on market and everyone kept buying at the same pace, we would be out of inventory within that many months. So it's interesting that the month supply is going up, days on market are going down, and our closed sales are going up. So fascinating. Either people are getting more comfortable with coming on market, and so people are going back to selling, because there was a little while there at the beginning of the year where people didn't find the need to move their real estate, didn't want to sell. So it's good. It's good that we're seeing more listings come on market. And the condo market is starting to pick up. But what I'm seeing here in micro level for Oahu real estate is more condos coming on market. And I have a feeling the days on market for those are going to continue to rise for the reasons we're going to discuss later in the show, which is the insurance costs and fears around it.
Excellent, Ashley. Thank you for that great update. Yeah, it's interesting. It's these changes again. Well, there's always changes. That's the fun part about watching markets, right? They're always in flux. They're always moving for one reason or another. And speaking of moving for one reason or another, Heidi, give us the update. What's happening in Maui? And if you had any feedback on those empty lots, if at the end of your update, I'd like to hear about that as well, if you have anything to share. But give us the update on Maui. Heidi, how's it going there?
Yeah, sure. Well, yeah, a lot of your news was pretty depressing, Peter, but the fact that people are investing in land around Lahaina, so this isn't in the burn zone, this is in the surrounding neighborhoods. A lot of these sales are going to people with Maui addresses. So local residents are reinvesting in the community and wanting to stay here. And I see that as something really positive. Something people have been fearful about is that there would be a land grab by out-of-state investors. So far, it's, we haven't seen that. We haven't seen a lot of areas in the burn zone and Lahaina changing hands. This was more the areas outside in the surrounding communities and neighborhoods. Now, as far as the market, I mean, a very hot topic, especially in the part of the market that I work in, is the mayor's proposal, which we talked about a few weeks ago, to possibly phase out vacation rentals in apartment zoned areas. So there's going to be a hearing on June 25th. There's still some process to this proposal. We don't know exactly what's going to happen, but it is causing some uncertainty in the market. And I have to say, the silver lining is we do have a lot of really great condo inventory coming on the market. So for a buyer who's been waiting and watching and wants to live in a resort area or an oceanfront condo on Maui, I mean, there's really some amazing inventory coming to market right now. So it's been an interesting time. The overall Maui stats, I mean, show the continued story of a very, very stable, strong market. I mean, despite all the changes, I would say like the area of opportunity and the area of growing inventory is those resort condos, particularly in the apartment zone areas, because the future of what will ultimately be decided in those areas is unknown. But if you are looking to, if vacation rentals aren't the number one priority and you just want to live oceanfront, there are some really, really amazing opportunities right now. So it's always fun.
It's always fun. It's always shifting. So that's interesting. So do you think that it sounds like, I'm not sure here, but I'm kind of guessing that this increased, a lot of properties are coming on the market. Do you think that's because perhaps, for example, these short-term vacation rental owners, they own these short-term vacation rental properties. They're kind of seeing the writing on the wall, which is, it looks like, they're not, who knows what's going to happen with Maui, right? On one side, one extreme side is they're going to make, all short-term vacation rentals illegal and you're going to have to go to the hotels. That's the extreme side. But it looks like the writing is on the wall that short-term vacation rentals are going to be severely restricted in Maui. Do you think that's being taken into account, and why those, because you mentioned the condos that are going to be available are these sort of, oceanfront resort area condos near the apartment areas. Do you think that that's kind of what's going on, that they're seeing the writing on the wall and like, you know what, better get out while I can? What's your sense?
Yeah, people have all different reasons for listing and selling, and there's certainly been a lot of change here. So, everyone's reason's different. It's not to the point of we're getting so many listings. It's like, everybody wants to sell. We're not seeing that. But we're just seeing some, because we've been in such a low inventory market for such a long time, that's changing a little bit in this part of the market, which is more the resort condos. So we'll see what happens. If this proposal does pass, the goal of this is to open up more long-term rentals. So we'll see what happens. We don't know the future. So
we don't know the future. Yes, that's exactly right. We don't know the future and no one can predict it. I want to give a quick shout out to Dry Side. Greetings from Florida. Hope it's dry out there in Florida right now. Dry Side. Dylan, give us the update. Give us the Big Island. What's happening in the market there? What do you see going on?
We're seeing a similar trend to what we saw last month. We are at 303 sales right now for the month, which is going to put us right about 400 if we're tracking. It's kind of been about 100 a week. So we got a week left in the month, and that'll put us right kind of where we were. We were just over 400 sales for the month last month. And so that was the news from that data point, was that it was the first time in 8 months we'd been above 400 sales. So there's been a really steady uptick in activity over the last 6 months, and we peaked last month at over 400, and we should end this month around the same time, the same number. But like everybody else, inventory is not increasing. So what that basically tells us is that there are more listings coming on the market, but they're being bought up as soon as they're coming on the market, because the net inventory is not increasing. It's still hovering between 1,900 and 2,000 listings. And so even though there's more sales happening, the number of listings are not increasing. So basically tells us that we're absorbing the new listings that are coming on almost immediately by buyers. So pretty steady, nothing crazy happening over here on the Big Island.
The market summary is nothing crazy. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, nothing crazy is good. Nothing crazy is good. Yeah.
Slow and steady wins a race, right? So it's
slow and steady, slowing.
Yeah.
Yeah, indeed. Hey, Dry Side, Claire's clarifying my nickname refers to the dry side of the Big Island, where I aspire to reside someday. Well, Dry Side, hope you can make that dream come true. Talk to Judy Weber, who is on with us. Judy Weber, years ago, she aspired to live on the Big Island, and as of today, she is living on the Big Island. So keep it up, keep aspiring, because that's what it takes. You have to aspire to get somewhere. So excellent. Hey, a quick station break over here. If you've got how did you get here? Did you get the newsletter? If you came here through the newsletter that you got on livinginhawaii.com, you're in the group. But if you have not, you want to make sure you go to livinginhawaii.com and sign up over there. A little dialogue will pop up and you could put in your email address. You'll get invites to this show and every other show. You'll get content that we publish, videos as they go online. You definitely want to be a part of that. So get in on that while you certainly can. Before we move on, I do want to say, hey, there's a bunch of you here with us for today. If you've got questions, send us your questions, because your questions matter more than anybody's, because you're here with us live. We got a bunch of other questions. We got a bunch of things to talk about, but your stuff takes priorities. If there's anything you want to know about, ask us anything about Hawaii, about real estate. You could even ask about the shirts if you want to ask about the shirts or the coffee or the rain, whatever you want. Anyway, give us your question. So let's go on to this, our big question for today. So the big question is how are we going to address the rising insurance costs? So here's what I want to get from the four of you. You guys have got so much experience and there's so many things going on. So this past week, there was all kinds of headlines about insurance costs are rising in Hawaii. You saw that story that I mentioned. Some folks who could afford a home a few years ago suddenly can't afford the home right now, and the rising insurance costs are a part of it. There's talk about 30% increases, 40% increases, huge increases that's making it unaffordable. Now, last week we talked about kind of at our last show, we did talk about the fundamentals and kind of what's going on. Here's what I want to focus on now is that if you're looking to buy, if you're a buyer, if you're a potential buyer and you're looking to buy real estate in Hawaii, how do you steer clear of this insurance thing how do you mitigate this? How do you mitigate the potential insurance increase? In other words, how do you know if the place that you're going to buy is going to be subject to this really high increase or not? What would you do? What would you recommend to folks and ask them? It's like, okay, tell me what to do here as far as so that I could make sure I'm not going to get like hit over the head in this closing process or the buying process and find out that, oh my God, my building's going to have this huge increase. What would you do? So let's go the opposite way now. Let's go Dylan and then Heidi and then Ashley. Give us your wisdom on what you would do. Dylan.
So I got two takes on this. The first one is it's going to start with savvy listing agents, good listing agents, disclosing very upfront what the current situation is, doing that research with their seller. So if a seller is going to come to market, gathering this information and making it readily available via the listing. So buyers can take that into account in their shopping process. Not everybody's going to do that. The normal course of business is normally after you open escrow, you get a whole packet. We call it M1 documents. It's governed in paragraph M1 in the purchase contract. And that has a full review of the HOA documents, the budget, meeting minutes, reserve study. There's all kinds of information that come. And this is where you would review that. And there's a disclosure called an RO 105C, which is what has a summary of any issues, upcoming costs, things like that. And so at that point, it's the buyer's due diligence period to look over those documents and make sure that there isn't anything that is unacceptable to them if they purchase that unit or that property. And so there's two parts to it, right? I mean, some pre-due diligence that a good listing agent is going to do, and then post-due diligence once you're in escrow to confirm whatever you were told is correct, because that's another thing is sometimes what is disclosed isn't always the case. And so you want to make sure you're also working with a good buyer's agent who understands the process and knows what to look for and can help you avoid any pitfalls. But the summary is there is no way to predict. I mean, every single building is governed individually. And so there's no public database, or there's no way to get a blanket answer or put into a search result, what the insurance costs are or could be in the future. You're really going to have to take it on a case-by-case basis. And it's really going to come down to the level of expertise of the agent that you're working with to help you through that process. And so you really want to ask that question before you choose to work with an agent on what their experience has been with that. So you have that high level of guidance and advice as you go through the process, because you can figure it out, but it's going to be really on a case-by-case basis.
So there's no global answer. It's a case-by-case basis. It's based on the specific place that you're looking at buying, and make sure you've got an agent who's been around the block before. It's not their first rodeo on making these purchases. Heidi, what's your wisdom? What do you tell folks who say, man, I'm looking at these headlines, Heidi, they're telling me that insurance rates are going up. What do we do here?
Well, I think it's important to be aware of that if you're a buyer right now. I mean, insurance rates are going up everywhere. And especially if you're just talking about condominiums on Maui, yes, insurance rates are going up everywhere. As a buyer's agent, I mean, I think an important question is like if you're getting information on the HOA fees, or even this is our 2024 budget. I mean, a good question to ask is, have you gotten your insurance rates back? Because some HOAs have put together a budget beginning of 2024, and then 3 months later, they get their new insurance costs and then amend the budget and then just increase the fees again. So it's really important to get as much of that information up front as you can, or at least as a buyer know, like, the fees are probably going to go up, and just make sure that if the fees do go up a few $100s a month, I mean, that's not going to break your personal budget, and it's still going to be something that you can comfortably afford. But yeah, I mean, the insurance issue is everywhere. I don't think you can really escape it by just going from one building to a next. Yeah.
You just want to kind of find out what it is and what's going on and be as informed as you can. And that's kind of like what's coming out over here as the wisdom. Dryside says, look, my car insurance in Florida has doubled in the last 2 years. Well, there you go. Hopefully, Dryside, that's not because of your driving record. Hopefully that's not because of your driving record that your car insurance has doubled in the past few years. But wait, look at that. Sue, look at it. This is like, there it is. Sue, our insurance in California is 4 times what it was 7 years ago. And there is very, very little competition. A lot of interesting dynamics, Dylan, you know, on the policy side. That's something that we need to kind of course, we're going to chat about, I think, maybe. But first, we need to hear from Ashley. I want Ashley's take. Ashley, you've heard everything that's been said so far. What do you add to this as far as, you know, what do people need to, how do you mitigate this as best? You can't eliminate it, but how do you mitigate it?
I think information is everything. So normally, you know, we always have conversations with our clients to discuss what plan they have to have certain months reserves for future payments or mortgage payments or assessments or anything that might come up. I'm going to piggyback on what Dylan had said regarding the condo docs, because that's the biggest thing that you can do. So in those meetings and minutes that you get when you review the condo docs, that they're talking about past repairs and they're discussing future repairs. So when you look at the budget of condo docs, they have a schedule for a period of time, whether that be 10, 20 years in the future. And on that schedule, you can see what is the current budget, what do they currently have in reserves. So if you have a very small association and you have a large reserve for that association, and you see that they have certain things coming up like plumbing or sprinklers or painting, whatever that might be, you can kind of foresee, you know, these reserves are more than sufficient with the amount of percentage that they plan on increasing the maintenance fees every year. So it should maintain to be able to afford whatever those costs will be in the future. So that comes down to having great buyer's representation as well. They can't answer these questions for you, but they can help guide you on how to have the conversation and what to look out for. And then also you can contact the insurance company. So you can ask for a copy of the policy when you're reviewing those documents. And oftentimes they will have the binder or the insurance deck page, the declaration page with it. And I've contacted the insurance companies and I said, hey, look, I see there's 100% hurricane insurance right now. Do you foresee, or have you had any conversations within your brokerage about that dissolving or changing? And you know, oftentimes they'll say, yeah, we are having those conversations. So you can prep your client in advance of what that would look like. And then you can look to see, especially in these last 2 or 3 years, how much they've increased their maintenance fees. On average, you can expect a 3 to 5% increase on your maintenance fees annually to go par with inflation. But there's a lot of associations that went up 20 to 35% in the last 2 years. So you want to see, have they gone up that much? Have they not? Why? Some associations are extremely well budgeted. And one last factor is, I don't have the specifics, and maybe by next show I can get it for you, but I believe if it's 6 stories or less for a building, their insurance liabilities are less than something of 7 stories or higher. So that also might be something of consideration.
So what I'm catching here is that basically, to round all this up, is you really essentially, as a buyer, you got to do your homework. And a really good way to do your homework is to work with a buyer's agent who's done homework a million times, right? You want to work with someone who's helped buy a lot of condos, someone who knows how to go through these. You know, I'm kind of thinking on this myself. It's like, what do you look for when condo docs. I remember a long time ago when I bought my first condo.
Let me inject like what that actually looks like, right? Is when you get the
Yeah.
condo docs, it's like between like 15 and 30 separate PDFs with hundreds of pages. So like this is not like a quick read, right? I mean, this is like you really do need to know which document you want to look at and which section of it to look at. Like Ashley was talking about the declaration. I mean, there's different things where you can look to the highlights and find stuff. But yeah, if you're just given a big, an email with, 1,000 documents, it's not going to be helpful. And if your agent just forwards that to you, they're doing you a disservice because you need to have some help and interpretation on what you're looking at.
Yeah, it's not like you're given like a nice link to a beautifully designed website that has all the documents in perfect order that you can kind of click through. These are associations, and they're run by associations. Typically, are run by just a bunch of folks in the building. There's a bunch of folks in the building who step up to the plate and say, I'll help run the association, and they don't have there's. We don't know how good their record keeping is, but their documents are like regular documents. It's Word documents or whatever, and they're PDF'd, and sometimes they're not even like they're typed up. It's paper that gets scanned. It's all over the place, kind of basically as far as what's going on. There's no sort of standardized way, and so that's part of the process. And how do you slog through all that, right? How do you figure all that part out? Like
a nice bottle of wine.
Yeah, several bottles of wine. Yeah, exactly. Right. And
I always tell my clients, like, make sure that you have a nice calming environment, set aside a few hours in the evening, get a bottle of wine or some sparkling water, whatever you drink, and then just, speed read through some of the drier content, because some of it is more important than others. All of it's obviously more important, but there is some that are more important. Like, you definitely want to go through your house rules. You want to go through your budget and your reserves and your meetings and your minutes. I call those like the skeletons in the closet. There's a lot you can foresee in an association with those documents, but obviously read them all. And I think Dylan can probably speak more on this in the political side of things. But whenever you have a major shift in anything regarding housing, usually the state or the government will eventually step in and figure out, like, maybe we have to subsidize something, or maybe we have to give funding to insurance companies so that they can still withstand, market, natural disasters. So I know that that's not an immediate solution. I know your guys' comments regarding government stepping in to do anything, but likely I think that will have to be in some particular markets for sure.
And that's an important discussion and perspective, right? Because a lot of times, and this is something that isn't getting a lot of attention, but a lot of this is a result of government regulators forcing insurance companies to do additional things because something bad happens somewhere. So they force new requirements on everybody. And it's like, it feels like with homeowners insurance and property insurance, it's going the way of health insurance, where there's so many regulations on health insurance. Like, the health insurance policy I get has to cover mammograms, right? And it's like, that's ridiculous. Why do I have to pay for that as part of my health insurance? But it's like a one size fit all type of policy, because there's so many regulations and so many things that are forced upon insurance companies to provide. And that's a piece that definitely contributes to this. Is we're all individuals, and we should be able to choose what type of risk we want to expose ourselves to. And that's part of the problem here, is that there's less ability to do that. And so you have to pay more for everything versus assuming some risk on certain things. So yeah, it's a fun times in the insurance world.
It's frankly, it's the $13 loaf of bread problem. It's no different. The high insurance thing is like no different from the $13 loaf of bread problems, right? It's not $13 it's not a $13 loaf because the grocery is evil and they want to make tons of money on you, or because the bakery is evil and they're trying to squeeze out whatever dollars that they can. No, it's because everything piles into that expense. And
could it be the $25 minimum wage for the kid in high school that's bagging groceries now that we got? Could it be the
$25 minimum wage? Or could it be the fact that that wheat prices are like skyrocketing because of inflation, because we overinflated the economy and poured trillions of dollars into it, and Ukraine is knocked off the grid because they can't produce the wheat that they normally did, and etc. So and then so we look at this and it's like, oh my God, things are so expensive, people are so evil, what's going on? and that's a huge part of it. Jones, all the tornadoes on the mainland are impacting insurance in a big way. Yes, they are. Interestingly enough, though, Joan, statistically, there have been less extreme storms over the past decade or the past 20 years than in previous times. So yes, there is natural disasters, and it happens all the time. It's not the first time that tornadoes have gone through. But to Dylan's point, what's also gone on is that the regulations have made more and more things mandatory for insurers to cover stuff that they like mammograms for guys. Dylan, you know what, Dylan, you ought to go get a mammogram just to get it. We should do that, like a protest vote. All guys, we're all going to march in and demand a mammogram.
Make our insurance company pay for it.
Yeah. Make our insurance company pay for it. Exactly. Yeah. Mammograms for all. That's
I just wanted to add, I mean, another reason insurance costs are going up a lot is the cost of properties has appreciated so much. I mean, the cost of building has gotten more expensive. Labor has gotten more expensive. So, I mean, you really can't expect an insurance company to completely replace your house at the same price that they would 20 years ago or 40 years ago. So, I mean, like Peter and Dylan were saying, it ties into everything else, but financing is a big deal, and lenders have very strict requirements about condominiums having full coverage insurance. So if they don't have the right insurance, people can't even get financing, which could potentially impact property values. So, I mean, it is important to have good insurance. And just remember, when you're buying a condo too, you're kind of paying the HOA fees, and it's a convenience to you because you don't have to manage all the various things around the condominium. When you're buying a single family home, you still have costs, but you just have to organize everything yourself, negotiate everything yourself. So, I mean, there's pros and cons to both. Sometimes condos get a bad rap, but just, you're sitting there enjoying your condo and somebody else is taking care of repaving the parking lot and doing all the yard maintenance and talking to the insurance company and scheduling the pest control, and you're just sitting there enjoying it. With a house, I mean, you would still have all those costs. You just have to coordinate it yourself. So to each his own.
That is a fantastic point, Heidi. That is an excellent point, that things are a lot more expensive now than they were before. That that home that you once built for $200,000 is now going to maybe cost double to rebuild that. And if you've got a 100% insurance policy, because the bank is requiring it as part of the loan thing, that 100% coverage means that the insurance company has to rebuild that house. Apparently, I'm just going to guess what that means. It means that they have to rebuild the house in today's costs, and that's like hugely more expensive, and that's not a thing.
The simple math is since 2019, properties have pretty much doubled in price. So your insurance should probably double in price too, right? I mean, you would expect.
There you go. You go. Hey, Auntie Joan has chimed in. Every year, 1 in 1,000 men do get breast cancer. So that's not a joke. That's exactly why Dylan and I should go get mammograms. That's exactly correct. But seriously, thank you, Joan, for pointing that out. It's a serious thing. And, we don't want anyone to get breast cancer. And maybe that's why mammograms are included for men, because, hey, let's go get that. Let's go get that mammogram. All right. Hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we let's kick over and talk about our diamonds and deals. We got a bunch of properties. It's always fun. What's fun about this part of the show is that I don't know in advance what they're going to feature. So it's almost like Christmas in a way. I get to kind of open up and find out who's doing what, and there's some similarities and contrast. So let's find out who's got what today. And Hana Highway. Oh, one of my favorite places on earth. Heidi, wow. What is this?
So this is out in East Maui. It's on 0.625 acres of land. There's a home. There's a separate cottage, ohana. There's a 2-car garage and a separate storage space, and it's all listed for $165. Lots of rainbows out there. It's just your own little sanctuary, but very remote rural living. It's a few minutes to town in Hana, but Hana town is very small remote town. But it's also very close to Homoa Beach, which is one of my favorite beaches out there. So if you're looking to live the rural lifestyle on Maui out in Hana, check out this property. It's pretty cool.
Man, this is I mean, when you said it's a little bit remote in Hana, that's like a double whammy, right? Because like Hana's sort of like one of the most like remote like places that you can kind of go to, right? I don't know how long it takes on the Hana Highway, an hour to get there. I'm not sure, but if you're remote from Hana, that means you are kind of remote, man. And that's but you know what, for someone who wants to be remote, me would be one of them. That would be, and 1.6, that's not bad. 2-bedroom, 2-bath with a cottage and a garage and a workshop. Nice. Cool. All right. What's next? Let's see what we got here. Give us the lowdown. This has got to be this is in Kailua. Give us the lowdown. What is this? What are we looking at, Ashley?
I know I've been posting a lot of Kailua lately. I apologize, but it's just a really strong market over there here. This is a condo. I'm going live with this. It's my listing in an hour after we get off this call. So you guys are the very first to see it. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom for only $969,000. And this particular association is surrounded by an aquatic moat, an atrium that's man-made with koi fish and ponds, and every avenue, every walking path you go to has like waterfalls and tropical landscape. And then you're also here on the Hamakua Marsh. So the birds, it's just an orchestra of birds in the morning. And when you walk into this, you see eye level with all of the tropical foliage. It's also, we're not allowed to say this on the listing, but it is very walkable to Target, Safeway, the auto store, UPS, the beach, everywhere you probably need to go if you don't feel like driving. Very bikeable as well. It's got tennis courts, sauna, hot tub, pool, everything that you need. And this is less than 6 stories. The maintenance fees are $1,300 and they're extremely stable. They only went up 2% last year when a lot of the associations I worked with went up over 20%, just to attest to how stable that maintenance and association is.
Wow, cool. So, Kailua is so fun. I mean, you look at this photo, and there's like green everywhere. That's the beautiful part about the windward sides of all the islands. They're extremely lush, and you got the coconut trees there and the marsh. And good job, Ashley, on including a timely topic about the maintenance fees and how well put together that this group is. That's really a cool looking property. Thank you for sharing. All right, let's see. What do we got from what's next here in Christmas in real estate? Dylan, what are we looking at?
It's the stunner, right? I mean, look at this pool, and then the view you get outside of that. You can see the long lanai and then this long lap pool right in front. This is just a killer. New listing just went on the market last week, but you can see that kitchen and all those big windows just looking out. This is in Kona Vistas, which is one of the most desirable neighborhoods over here on the west side, and it's just outside of town, so it's really close. Like you're 7 minutes away from Walmart, but you're not like right in town. And great elevation, killer unobstructed views, like 180-degree views. And look at the price, man. 2.15 for 3-bedroom, 2.5-bath, 2,100 square feet. Just killer house. So this is actually listed by my brother, so I'm partial to this one. But this is one of the nicest listings in this price range in the market right now.
That is amazing. Well, you know what? It's not just you and your brother who love this property. It's also Soraya. Thank you, Dylan. Soraya. This is my favorite neighborhood, Kona Vistas. Well, I could see why. I mean, look at to steal a Dylanism. This is a ridiculous looking property. It's ridiculous views. I mean, look at that amazing spot. It's a ridiculous kitchen, and it's a ridiculous lap pool. That's really cool. It's awesome. Hey, I got a question for all of you who are watching us right now. What would you we haven't done this before. Well, we've done sort of like this before, but okay, if you had the choice, what would it be, gang? So throw it in the comments. What would you rather, if you could pick, and if money was an object, let's say money is an object, but if you could pick, what would you take? Would you take the 3 2.5 bath in the Kona Vistas for 2.1? Would you take the amazing 3-bedroom condo in Kailua for just under $1 million? Or would you take the remote, this is like a nice variety, right? It's that remote kind of middle of nowhere place in Hana for 1.6. What would you pick? Which would be yours? I know that Misty's loving the views at Kona Vistas. Thank you, Misty, for sharing that. Yeah, and let's see, they're coming on in over here. This is great. So folks, we are curious to let us know what's going on. Let me kind of do it this way. So Judy says, okay. So Judy says Kona Vistas. And Nancy is a great variety here. And Auntie Jones says Kailua hands down. Marco wants the Hana property. There you go, the Hana property. There you go. Marco wants the Hana property. Native to Earth wants Kailua, has more upside. Well, possibly. And Kara says Kona Vistas for sure. Kevin, love your energy. Hey, I don't know who Kevin is, but I love his energy too. Love him to pieces. And Soraya, of course, says Kona Vistas. Kinaya says Maui. Maui wins with the 5. I mean, the Maui that, Maui. Hana. I mean, it's Hana. I mean, it's magic, What's her name is over there? Oprah loves it too. Misty says Kona Vistas #1, Kailua-Kona. Oh, so first and second choice. All right, Misty. Awesome. Dry Side says Hana. Mark says Hana for the cottage, right, Mark? I mean, but Mark, we're in tech, right? So hopefully, you just get Starlink. Oh my God, Starlink, and the Tesla solar with the battery, so you're living off the grid. Now you're talking about it. Okay, glad you like that, Kara. I'm hoping you're enjoying yourself. Kona Vista is gorgeous. I'm gonna blow that first name, so I'm gonna let that one go from Maui, young Maui. What?
Jyoti,
the young Maui realtor. Excellent. Yes. Kona. So, hey, wait a minute. You're a Maui realtor. You're not supposed to say. You're supposed to kind of vote for Maui, right? You can't be right. Is that okay? No. Good fun, everybody. Good fun. Let's see, Heather, welcome, Heather. I haven't seen that lap pool in Kona, right? The lap pool in Kona, man. Let's take a look at that lap pool. That lap pool in Kona. Lapping pools are cool, man. Yeah. Lap pools are cool. Awesome. Okay, good. Let's see. I think, let's just move on. We're gonna maybe close the show a few minutes, so it depends how we're gonna go. So look, gang, we're gonna go to one of my favorite parts of the show right now, which is your closing thoughts. So we kind of bring the show to a close. By the way, if you have any last minute questions, pop it in now, because the show is going to come to a close. So we're going to close with, we have each of us has created a collection of motivational thoughts. We'd love to hear from you. What are your motivational thoughts? What things have you heard that kind of help you kind of motivate and go through life? Share it. I'd love to know about it. And why don't we start this one off here with Ashley? Ashley, what's yours and what does it mean to you? How does it speak to you?
It is better to be happy than to be right. I am practicing this with my 9-year-old, because we all, especially if we know it to be true, or if you're a wife or your husband and you just know it to be true, it's just sometimes better to be happy and let it go than to be right. Personal experience at the moment.
Yeah, she's 9, right? Wait, you're just getting into that fun phase, Ashley, where like 9 or 10, they got their own brain, and get ready for the pushback, man. Get ready for the pushback.
I'm not ready.
Yeah, well, it doesn't matter whether you're ready or not, girl, because it's coming. It is coming. And
pray for me.
There's a universal law of nature, right? The meaner you were to your mom is the meaner your daughter is going to be to you. So it depends how you treated your mom growing up. So that's what
I was a literal angel, and I still take care of my mom. So.
Okay, so you're good to go then. You're good to go.
No,
you should ask your mom if she has the same opinion, though. Does your mom have the same opinion?
No, we're polar opposite. My daughter's just very sweet and sensitive and a know-it-all, but in the nicest and most loving ways possible. She's an amazing human. Don't get me wrong. I know we all go through this with our Ohanas. So I'm praying for you guys. Pray for me back.
Yeah, I have 2 amazing, incredible beast daughters. My oldest is 28 and my youngest is 24. and they're just amazing. But boy, we sure had our from I think from age 10 to like 23, it was like, oh my God. But anyway, I love them to pieces. They're amazing. All right.
10 to 23, Peter?
Yeah.
Do you know how long that is? You just made me sweat.
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Oh my God.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
It's over a decade.
Yeah. So you go through the first, okay. Hey, if you're watching and you've had experience, pop this in. I need to have some confirmation here or denial, one of the two, pop it in. But it started at 10 and it just, it got more fun because then they go into their teens, right? And then they go into their late teens, and it just doesn't end until they're in their early mid-20s. That's just the way it flies. But hey, is that true for you? Let us know if you have older children, older daughters. Let me know if that is true. But yeah, Ashley, get ready. It's gonna be a long ride. Oh, there you go. It's true, Ashley. It's true. There you go. Judy says it.
I don't. Move on to the next quote. I'm not ready.
Next quote. Yeah. Here comes the confirmation. So Misty says, Aloha, LOL, Ashley, my daughter is 25 and I have an 8-year-old. There's plenty in between. Pray for me. So you guys can start your prayer group. Start the prayer group. Yes. So, but you know what?
Misty looks for having a 25-year-old and an 8-year-old. I know her, and I would have never guessed that.
Well, there you go. God bless you, Misty. But you know what? At the right moment, the right things occur, and Auntie Joan is coming with the wisdom, which is let go and let in all life has to offer. That's it right there. Thank you, Auntie Joan. Let go and let in. That's it. That is correct. Tim. Hey, Tim, good to see you again, buddy. Didn't see a comment from you until just now. It is better to let my wife think she's right and be happy. No. You have it wrong. You can't let your wife think she's right. You have to understand that your wife is right. It's not to think. You have to know that your wife is right under all circumstances. What are the five magic words? I've been married for 32 years. The five secret words. Ashley and Heidi, teach your husbands this. I know that Dylan knows it. What are the 5 magic words? Yes, dear, you're absolutely right. Those are the 5 magic words that will get you through any marriage. Yes, dear, you're absolutely right. Ashley, Heidi, share that. That's how you get to have that. So, great. Heather, I'm just a few years in front of Ashley, so I'm welcoming all the advice. Yes, you're right, Heather. You're right in the middle of it. It has begun. It has begun.
And I will say, I'll wrap this up because I know we need to move on, but it just happened. Like, she just turned 9, and I feel like on her 9th birthday, this has happened on hyperspeed. Like, it's kind of like I hear when you hit 40, when you hit 30, like when I hit 30, my back just hurt. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It just hurt all the time. And I don't know why. And when she hit 9, she just became a teenager. And I don't get it. It was like she woke up the next day in a different mind. It was crazy.
Yes, there are several such transformations, Ashley. There are several such transformations. You will wake up one morning and like, who in the heck is this? All right, let's move on. This is good fun, everybody. Good fun. Thank you all for sharing. Heidi, what's yours and how is it meaningful to you?
Value your freedom and remember the sacrifices made by the people who have come before you. So I was thinking, going into Memorial Day weekend, thinking of the men and women who have fought for our freedom in past wars. And then also just the people that have come before you, your parents, your grandparents, the people that have been before you in your career or just creating all the knowledge that we have now and where we are now. So
thank you so much.
A good reflection.
Thank you so much, Heidi, for reminding us that yes, this is a Memorial Day weekend, and we do enjoy. This is the greatest time to be alive. There has been no better time to be alive previous to today. Today is the greatest time of all to be alive in this incredible world that we have, where we have so much of everything. It's just unimaginable, and it is on the backs or the shoulders or whatever you want to call it of those who sacrificed so much. Especially in honor of Memorial Day, especially those who made the ultimate sacrifice to bring us what we have today. And yes, the more we think about that, the better. Thank you, Heidi. Thank you. That is a good one. That is a good one. Dylan.
Yeah, learn as if you were to live forever and live as if you were to die tomorrow. I think it's a good reminder for perspective on what we do every day and how we approach the world and others. And then I just put 2 notes on here to remember the fall. It is Memorial Day's weekend, and it's for I always, every Memorial Day, I always remind everybody it's for the fallen, right? It's not for the veterans or for the active duty folks that are out there. We have separate holidays for those things, but it's the ones that have given the ultimate sacrifice and the families that also have bared that burden. So remember those folks, and congratulations to the graduates. Got lots of friends with kids that are graduating. It's a huge accomplishment, and so congratulations to all the graduates out there. Go on and do good things.
Yes, all the graduates, indeed. So very well said. Thank you, Dylan, for sharing. And yes, remember the fallen. That is what that's what Memorial Day is for. Barbara, thank you, Barbara. Now Barbara's in her 90s. Now that is the woman who's the most wisdom of all. Wisdom is proportional to age. Okay. Always love your children, even if there will be times when you really don't like them. Exactly.
That's deep.
Well said. That is
Well
deep,
said.
man. That is deep. That is someone who is in their 90s. God bless you. God bless you, Barbara. Thank you for sharing that. Just what we needed to hear. And thank you, Joan, for reminding us. Dylan, thank you for your service. Dylan also serves. He serves our country. Thank you, Dylan, for your service. Yes, indeed. Excellent. All right. We're going to close this up with, of course, as those of the regulars know what to expect from me. I'm going to give you some wisdom, 3,000-year-old wisdom from Proverbs. The reward for humility and fear of the Lord is riches and honor and life. And, I wanted to clarify this a little bit. What they mean by fear of the Lord is understanding that there are powers greater than yours. And understanding that there is a greater power, there is an ultimate power, and understanding that power and being afraid of that power in conjunction with humility is riches and honor in life. And with that, we are just right on the money over there. Patrick Chandler's giving us the shaka. Thank you, Patrick Chandler, for giving us the shaka. We're glad that you're here. All right, folks, I think we're just about right on time. Look at that, 2 minutes prior. So let's go counterclockwise. Ashley, then Heidi, and then Dylan. Say goodbye, everybody. Thank you all for a phenomenal show. Memorial Day weekend. Please remember the fallen. Remember those who made the ultimate sacrifice, as Heidi and Dylan have so wonderfully said. Say goodbye. Let's go around. Go, Ashley.
Have a blessed weekend, everyone. Hope you guys get to do something fun and in Memorial Day. Thank you for everyone, and happy graduation to those here in Hawaii.
Aloha, everybody. Have a great weekend and enjoy.
Yep. Have an awesome weekend, you guys.
Have an amazing weekend. Have a fantastic Memorial Day. Please recognize those who have fallen. Great graduations. What else do we got to say? Love you all. Take care. See you all in 2 weeks. Aloha.